What's up, guys? Potential Thinny Mantano here, internet's busiest rap battle fan. Today, back with another review. This one of Call Me If You Get Lost versus Minecraft by Teimunity. I'm a little late to the party reviewing this, I would say. I think that a lot has been said about this project already, and a lot about sort of its where people stand with it and how people feel about it and all that good and fun stuff. But I think it's still worth, going back and exploring. I don't think I need to tell you the 2025 that Teimunity has had as a creator. Its journey has truly been something that is, like, I think, generational of a growth as a creator, and just sort of the recognition and accomplishments that Teimunity has been able to achieve within 2025 is truly, like, very rarely seen in this community. And of course, while Tay has had other very prominent projects in that year, I think it goes without saying that this is the one a lot of people will come back to discuss, which is Call Me If You Get Lost versus Minecraft. So let's just get into it. The writing of this project is, I think, a very unique one in the sense that for what it's going for. I think I have to judge it very much on a different sort of way than I would a lot of other traditional projects. And it's not to say that this battle is entirely, like, delineating from there are standard parts of the rap battle experience within this as well, but there are also parts that are very different, such as the 8-bar intro, which for some reason my brain always took as like part of the battle and not just like a intro to the track, and the intermission in the middle before the beat switch. Those are two things that are, like, I think, delineations from the typical sort of rap battle experience that we get. It is also interesting when we talk about writing in comparison to in a rap battle, because you're not writing against Tyler the person, although there are certainly shots made at him. You're mostly speaking about the album, which I feel like presents less disses than like what a battle with more traditional characters would offer. Not to say that there aren't any. For example, the Fished Attention from Your Lover quatrain, I thought was a very good bit of like writing that works as a diss towards the album and Tyler and that whole like part of it. But there's a lot of bars and a lot of focus that are put into fleshing out the Tyler side of this battle, and a lot of it I think is truly very entertaining and very fun. There's stuff like the Steve by Snow, Alex was fiending for my Venus, and then come and see my nether regions. Like, all that is very fun. The only grass I ever fuck with is Frank Ocean. I can never buy okay, shit don't cost enough. It's just a lot of, like, it really paints the personality of this album and this character that Tay's essentially creating, which I always really enjoy when battles are able to create personas for things like these. And I mean, the flow is probably also very good and very well written here. There's a lot of very strong flow with great pockets and stuff. The opening 4 lines of the actual battle, the part that's like adding other mobs, like what the fuck do you mean, or no need for a phony, that little section as well. Those are a couple sections that I found to have some of the best flow of the entire battle. But really, a lot of it is just very well written. It flows super well and it's super catchy. I think overall the writing has done a pretty good job of, like, again, making this battle its own for a project sort of this long, and you have to really keep the pace going to keep people's attention for this long. I think this battle has done an absolutely amazing job. And even then, it helps separate it from, especially from other sort of Minecraft battles, and this added element of it helps sort of separate it from the identity of other Minecraft battles that it might have the sort of trap of falling into. Moving on to the audio, which is probably where this battle is sort of putting a lot of its chips in, and where it's sort of focusing a lot on, and I think is its most important part to sort of judge and look at. The 2 beats sound really good that we get in this battle. I think they both fit the vibe of the battle and the album that it's trying to represent very well. Truth be told, I had not visited the album before I worked on this review, and which means I watched this battle for the first time without even having listened to the full album. And while I appreciated it then, I definitely appreciate it even more so now as sort of this battle's sort of reflection of the style of Call Me If You Get Lost as an album. But that's not to say that it forgets about the other side of the battle, which is to say that Tay's additions to the beat help fit that Minecraft side more. A lot of that sampling of little sound effects that you get, especially during that second half, that back half, I think are really good and really just help like make the battle feel like its own and help marry these two sides more than I think your average battle would do when they try to do some kind of style mixing like this. So I think it's truly impressive what Tei's been able to do with the musical composition of this battle. Onto the performances, we have Dilly and Dilly Dally. I'll talk about Dilly singular first, which is that his performance is pretty standard, honestly, but it still maintains really good energy the whole way across. Dilly is really like a very energetic rapper in this, which I think is very good. I really like Steve performances that focus on that kind of thing, where he's just like a little like good energy sort of just like guy that's just like, yeah, having fun, woo, 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 that kind of thing. I really enjoy when Steve battles do that, and of course, Dilly's performance in this battle fully reflects that really well. Dilly Dally, on the other hand, does have the, I would say, obviously harder task of this battle. In terms of the impression, I think that it doesn't quite sound exactly like Tyler, but it definitely works enough to get that impression within the battle that, you know, you can tell what it's going for. And I think that Dilly Dally more than makes up for it from all the fun sort of mannerisms and expressions from the lines that I mentioned earlier in the battle that are like, really help sell that image. So even if it's lacking in the impression part of it, I think the actual performance more than makes up for that kind of thing. So I think it's very good. Finally, let's talk about the editing, which is done by Ryan, which I think looks really good. Ryan has always been one of my favorite editors, and he's especially well used here in the sense that the editing has a very sort of picturesque, vibrant quality with all the visuals, all the backgrounds and everything that add to the liveliness of this battle. And Ryan's always been, I think, an absolute expert of like creating these sharp color palettes that really make visuals, for lack of a better term, blossom. So I think he's absolutely like the best editor you could have gotten for this project. I think that the video is like very well paced editing wise as well. Like I love a lot of Ryan's editing that's sort of, it has a very good pacing to it, moves very smoothly, and I think it again adds to the sort of vibe of this battle. The only part that really takes me out is the parts where Tyler has to walk up the stairs or down the stairs, which there are two parts where Tyler has to interact with the stairs. And it's the only parts of this battle where I kind of go like, oh yeah, right, we're watching we're watching an FRB project here. It's not one-to-one to what I might expect. But I mean, still, it's goofy and in a fun way of like, it never feels bad. It feels like they know it's kind of goofy and it's kind of fun, but it is very goofy and it might take you out on your first watch or two. Onto the art, the Tyler art by Zreni, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, I think looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty clean, but it's a bit simplistic style-wise for what I would have gone for this particular matchup and idea. I get that it's contrasted next to, you know, Minecraft Steve, who is always very simple, and I think the Minecraft Steve art by GL has a really good stylization that again shakes the battle up from other Steve interpretations in rap battles, so I don't mind that on that side, but I think with someone like Tyler, honestly, the blast art that you see briefly of Tyler, I think during like the intro and stuff, looks really good and is probably more of what I would imagine just in terms of like keeping Tyler looking more, I guess for lack of a better term, realistic. I think it's kind of weird to like say it like, you know, characters can't look cartoony, but I think for something like this and something that's so stylistic and beautiful, I think just fully committing to that instead of having this more, the art that's sort of more simplified next to the rest of it, I think might help sell the full picture better personally, but that's my opinion on it. Overall, I think this is an absolutely fantastic battle. Any flaws I have with it are extremely sort of minor things of like, a flaw that I hadn't mentioned personally that I think you could weigh against this battle is just how you feel about its two separate sides in terms of you're probably going to enjoy one side noticeably more than the other side, in my opinion. For me, it was the second half of, while the first half is definitely not bad, I think it kind of, the battle gets way more interesting in the second half. And that's one of those things where I think if you really wanted to, you could make that out to be a much bigger flaw than it really is. But honestly, for this kind of thing, I think it's just a fact of the battle. And it's like, again, I could deduct points and I guess I might in my final score, but nothing so much so that I think it ruins the battle. In fact, I think this project is still extremely strong despite that. I think this is a supremely impressive showing by Tei, which is why, Mason, if you could Photoshop the yellow flannel on here because I did not bring it to film with me. Sorry, I was just busy and I did not have time to find it. But it's why I'm happy to give this battle a strong 8. Transition. Have you given this battle a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe. Please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another review that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Potential Thani Mantano. Forever.